Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first podcast. I am Lorena Parker from English with Parker, and today we are going to be looking at confidence, how to improve our confidence when speaking a second language. Um, I'm going to be talking about English because I'm an English teacher. However, you can apply this to any language. This is the very first podcast. It's live. You can see the video on YouTube. If you are listening to audio, then you won't be able to see my face. Maybe that's a good thing. Um, but yes, I'm an English teacher, and my students always ask me, Lorena, can you do a podcast? So here we are. Right, that is over and done with, the introduction. Let's get into the topic of today's show. So, confidence. Who here is an English language learner or any language learner and feels that their confidence is low when speaking English? I know my confidence was very low when I first came to Spain. I didn't know very much Spanish at all, at all. Um, Let me tell you a story actually. The very first year I was living in Spain, the very first month, I was going to university because I did my Erasmus in Murcia. Woo! Um, and I had to get the bus from university to my house or from my house to university. One day, one of the very first times I took the bus, I was waiting at the bus stop. Well, what I thought was the bus stop, right? 10 minutes passed, no bus. 15 minutes passed, still no bus. Half an hour waiting, still no bus. And I was like, this is weird. Why isn't the bus coming? I saw other buses going past, but not stopping where I was. There were many people around me. All I had to do was say, "Excuse me, is this the right place for this bus?" I could have done it with my, like, showing a photo on my phone, right? Or showing the number, like number 25, bus number 25. It was such a simple action, a question, but I was terrified to speak in Spanish to anyone because I wasn't sure if I was going to say it right. I wasn't sure if they were going to say, sorry, excuse me, I don't understand. I was terrified. So I continued to wait 45 minutes. I walked up and down the street a little bit to see if I could see anything else around, any other buses, and there weren't. So what happened? I walked home. It took me an hour to walk home. Some of you might think, oh, an hour, that's okay. Yeah, but the bus could have taken me 10 minutes. I walked home crying all the way home for an hour, feeling stupid, feeling embarrassed, feeling ashamed, and feeling like I just disappointed myself. It was just such an easy thing to do. And who cares if someone said, sorry, I don't understand you. I could have just asked somebody else. I could have just shown them a picture. And I remember when I got to my flat, I was like, Lorena, you're in Spain. You're alone. I mean, I was with friends, but I was like kind of alone. I was alone in that situation, getting the bus. I was like, Lorena, you need to grow up, because if you can't have the confidence to ask somebody for something in a foreign country, what are you going to do when you're in real trouble? You can't be walking home from university an hour when you've got other obligations and you need to be there in 15 minutes. So that was kind of a turning point for me, where I was like, right, suck it up, don't be silly, and start speaking. If you've got to make a mistake, you've got to make a mistake. Like, you're a learner, you're learning a language. You're gonna make mistakes. Um, so that's my little story, really, and that brings me on to the next point of the advantages of making mistakes. Right? Mistakes are often seen as a negative thing, especially when it comes to learning a language. You know, if you make mistakes, it's like you don't know how to speak English or you don't know how to speak Spanish. Um, Making mistakes are an essential part of the learning process. You know, it helps you learn. Okay, when you make a mistake, you have the opportunity to learn from it and avoid making the same mistake again in the future. If nobody hears you speaking, nobody can help you say it correctly if you happen to say it wrong. Um, so there's first big opportunity to improve. Speak in front of people. If you make a mistake, um, get them to correct you, because then you know it was a mistake and you know what not to say in the future. Second point, it builds confidence. When you make a mistake and realize it's not the end of the world, you become confident again in speaking more, because you're like, okay, that was a little bit embarrassing, but you know, it's fine. Did I die? No. Did I go a little bit red? Probably. Um, did I have to walk 1 hour home because I didn't want to say a word in another language? No. So, you know, it really does help you. It builds your confidence. And once you've done it that one time, the second time, it's easier. Still hard, but the third time, it's even easier. The fourth time, you know, and when you've done it 100 times, you're like, I don't care anymore. And I'm improving faster. Make mistakes also shows you're trying. Um, if you go out with people and in another language in their country and you're not trying, it's very difficult to integrate yourself into those conversations. You need to try to speak. Yeah. It's better to try and make mistakes than to be afraid to speak at all. And then finally, I think it helps you connect with others. When you make a mistake, um, they see that you're a real person. You know, they can connect emotionally, they can create empathy, um, and it really does help people connect together. And that's how friendships are built, and then that's how you can make friends when you're abroad. So let's go over these actionable points that we've just talked about. Number one, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Number two, learn from your mistakes and use them as an opportunity to improve. Okay, we're talking about a growth mindset. Don't have this fixed mindset where you think you can't improve, because you can. Point number three, remember that making mistakes is natural and it's a natural part of the learning process. It doesn't mean you're not good at English. Everyone makes mistakes, even in their own language. I make mistakes in English all the time. My family, my friends, they make mistakes all the time. It's normal. Don't worry about it. Okay, so how can you build more confidence in English? It's challenging, but it's essential if you want to improve your language. So here are some tips. Tip number one, practice, practice, practice. Have you heard it thousands of times? Yes. Have you done it? Probably not. Okay. The more you practice speaking English, the more confident you will become. Okay. Find opportunities to practice with friends, watching English movies. You can speak to yourself. Get a teacher, join a speaking group. You know, there's so many things you can do, so many things you can do for free, and there's so many things that you can do paid, which will get you to your point much quicker. But my point is, you can do for free and you can do it with money. Second thing you can do is instead of focusing on all the things that you think you're doing wrong or the things that you don't know in English, focus on the things that you already know. And when you learn something new, celebrate it. Yeah. If you've learned something new and you've used it in a conversation, you'll be like, oh, I can do that. I've done it, and celebrate it. The more you celebrate, the more confidence you will create. The third point, be prepared. If you know you are going to be in a certain situation with certain vocabulary, prepare yourself. Prepare expressions, look them up, practice, write down key phrases and sentences that you might need in that type of situation, and then practice them until you feel comfortable, so that when you get to that situation in a pub or in an interview or meeting with friends talking about something specific, you already have that vocabulary there as a backup and you feel more comfortable. And then finally, get feedback. Ask someone you trust. A teacher, okay, can give you feedback. A qualified teacher, not just a random person. A qualified teacher can give you quality feedback on your English. And this can help you identify areas you need to improve, as well as areas that you're already doing well. Maybe you're really good at communication or you're really good at phrasal verbs. So maybe you haven't noticed that yourself, and maybe you don't need to practice so much with those parts. Maybe you need to focus on your pronunciation. Maybe you need to focus on some grammar. So get someone who knows what they're talking about to help you. There's loads of teachers. I have classes. I have daily classes that you can join. Just write me a message on Instagram and I can give you information about those classes. I have courses for people who are serious about improving their English. In 2 months, I have intensive courses. I have daily classes. I have one-to-one classes. I have group classes. Just write to me at English with Parker in Instagram, and I can give you, just write the word information or class information, or could you tell me more about your classes? And I can give you all of that information. No problem. Okay, so let's look at the points you can put into practice for building your confidence. Practice speaking English as much as possible. Focus on your achievements, not only on your mistakes. Be prepared for situations where you might need to speak English, create sentences, key phrases that you predict that you might need, and ask for feedback. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback in areas, to identify areas where you need to improve. Okay. So I think I'm going to leave the first podcast there. So in summary, being confident when speaking English is really essential for your success. The benefits of being able to communicate effectively in English are countless. From opening new career opportunities to making new connections around the world. Self-study materials are great, but it's not a substitute really for guidance and support of a skilled teacher. So invest in yourself. Okay, this is a top tip, by the way. Invest in yourself and your future by studying English today, not tomorrow, not next week, not, it's nearly the summer holidays, I'm probably going to start in September. No, start today. Why not? You can do it at home for free. Yeah. You won't regret it. So thanks everybody for listening to the first podcast. If you have any questions about it, write in the comments below. I have a PDF. I think it's about a 7-page PDF with all of the points that I have mentioned in today's podcast. I will link it below. If you are listening by audio, what can you do? You can send me a message saying podcast 1 PDF, and I will send it to you. The transcript will always be available as well below. I hope this has helped you. Let me know in the comments, is confidence a problem for you? And what are you going to do about it? Thanks, guys, for listening to podcast number 1. I will see you in podcast number 2. Bye.